Hey everybody, welcome to the Fractured Focus reaction to the season finale of Game of Thrones Season 7, The Dragon and the Wolf. I'm one of your hosts, Ben Gordon, and coming in live from the great state of Nebraska, Mr. Matt Swinehart. Matt, holy shit.
Yeah. Redemption.
Oh my god, what an episode. What do you think?
I loved it. I know this, apparently some people didn't like it, and I don't see why. I mean, they are definitely spoon-feeding certain aspects. I mean, I agree with those reviews, but if you've never read the books and you don't know that much about it and you just like watching the show, you need those over-the-top hints because the whole Rhaegar thing, I guarantee those people didn't catch it unless they watch one of these review shows.
Especially when this is the most popular show in the world, even if the vast majority is aware of the, Jon is the actual son of Rhaegar and Lyanna. Number one, we didn't know that his actual name is Aegon Targaryen. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
That was like a huge piece of information.
Yeah, never in the books.
Yeah, but you're right. You're never going to have everybody know that. And I think the showrunners were talking. No, it wasn't the showrunners. I was hearing someone else talking about it, and they go, "We know when we saw the scene at towards the end of season, or I think it was the last episode of season 6, when they show the scene where Bran is finally watching Ned get Jon Snow from Lyanna as she dies, and then they cut away to show that face imposed on Jon Snow's face. Oh, it's the same person." But it's still not really official until it's actually spoken on the show, kind of in a way, I think. Or, that's some people's views, which I can understand where that comes from. And not only did we get that, but we got even more information. But, yeah, I thought this episode was
now more
crazy.
than just Bran knows, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, with getting Samwell in there, I mean, it's now there's more than just Bran.
Yeah.
So, which is great. And it's nice that they were able to make that connection.
Right.
And then Bran was able to go back and actually witness the wedding.
That actually kind of gave us some more insight into like Bran's powers or the rules that go along with that, because I guess I was kind of under the impression that it was kind of a gray area, like he's just omnipotent and just knows everything. And it looks like, and I like the way that they've set it up, is he has access to everything that is happening right now or has happened, but he has to actually know where to go look for it.
Yeah.
Which I think makes, we're talking about fantasy fiction magic, but I still like that there's some logic to it. I thought that was really cool. And having Sam play a role with that was really rewarding.
Yeah, that was cool. And the whole episode was just packed full of stuff.
Yeah. God, it was awesome.
Mean, the White Walker that they got, I mean, at first I was kind of like, he didn't come out of the box. And I'm like, is he fucking dead or something, right? And then when he came out.
Oh, the White?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the White. Yeah, and then when he came out of the box like that, I mean, that was like.
Uh-huh.
That's some full-fledged shit. I mean, that was awesome.
I felt the same way you did, that when Tyrion first suggested that they bring a White down to show Cersei proof, it seemed a little kind of. Okay, I guessed where you're going there, but something about it just feels off. But I thought with the execution, it worked really well. But what did you think?
It did. Mm-hmm. It did. I mean, and I've been kind of ragging on the idea for a couple episodes since they came out.
You weren't the only one, though.
Because it's thin. I mean, it just seemed super thin. But, I mean, Cersei got to see two things that she was told as a kid that didn't exist in all at once for the most part. I mean, she saw the dragon, 2 of them, and then she saw the White. So...
Yep. That was really cool. Well, let's jump into some of the stuff we got chronologically so that we don't miss anything. We opened up with Bronn and Jaime, but I really loved the scenes because they went into it pretty quickly. It was great to see what do they call it, the arena where they used to house the Dragon Pit. Yeah, which is a big part of the lore. It's in, we've gone into the maps and stuff like that from the World of Ice and Fire, and you can actually see the Dragon Pit in King's Landing. And obviously this was a slight different take on it because, you can't just make anything that's in the books. But I thought it was really well done. I love seeing Bronn and Tyrion back together.
Oh, yeah.
The dynamic. Remember last week, one of the things that we discussed that I was hoping for was that this sit down with having all of these major players, some of whom hate each other, some of whom haven't seen each other in God knows how long, all come together that we were going to get enough satisfaction out of the dialogue between them. It wasn't just going to be sit down, here's the dead, see they're real, okay, let's fight. And I was very satisfied with what they got, both leading up to it and the actual talk itself. And that started with Bronn and Tyrion. But, God, they're just so well written. They're so well together. And I love when Tyrion even reminded him, don't forget, whatever you're making, you remember my rule, I'll always double it. And to hear Bronn say, no, I'm fine, I'm good here, he's got his castle coming, and the Lannister will pay their debts in gold. Part of me is kind of thinking, Yeah, but we've been, and I can't believe I never pick up on it, telegraphed to go one way, and then we're surprised when it goes the other way the whole time. And the fact that Braun didn't take that, I was like, yeah, but you're a mercenary. You're all about gold. Why wouldn't you? So I'm wondering if that was set up so that we're going to see him switch sides. I don't know. To me, that was just a little bit weird that he was like, nah, I'm good. I'm covered.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking he's going to go with Jamie up to the wall to fight.
Yeah. Do you, though? That doesn't sound like Braun. Braun wouldn't risk his life for no reason. And now that Jamie's we'll get to that, but now that Jamie's kind of off on his own, does he even have the ability to pay him? And because Braun's not, he's made that very clear. He's about money, and that's it. I'll kill him.
I think he wants to fight for the winner. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's ultimately what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So.
But, who else do we get to
so leading up into that, like, I mean, you started in on it, and this might have been some of your points, but seeing Podrick and the interaction there, even Brienne and the Hounds interaction. I mean, I thought that was great. I mean, all that stuff leading up to it, I half expected them to be murdered or taken captive before they ever got there. That seemed like it would be more of a Cersei move to me.
Brienne and the Hounds reunion seemed a lot more mutual respect of each other than I would have guessed, but having watched it, it did make sense. Like, you can kind of see that they both had Arya's best interest at heart, and they weren't beating around the bush about it.
I watched that scene just recently of their fight, and the things that led up to the fight, and the conversation that they were having was pretty much, the Hound was at that point taking care of Arya.
Yeah.
And he in his heart, he was looking out for her best interest. And here's Brienne with Lannister's sword saying that she's looking for her and that she's going to protect her. So I kind of see that the way the fight played out, and then ultimately he didn't have anything nice to say about her last episode. But this one, it was actually kind of mutual respect.
Yeah.
Which maybe shows some growth by the Hound. So...
Yeah, he's clearly kind of almost searching for a reason to exist, which has kind of been his arc since we found out he was alive again, right?
Yeah, I think with him and his brother's interaction, because they were the first ones to talk, right? Because he walked right up to the mountain,
which how cool
stepped
is that
out
too?
Yeah, and he's like, I knew you weren't dead, and then I don't know what he said, but he hinted at like that your death belongs to somebody else, and I don't know if he meant the Hound.
I think he means I'm coming for you. It's always going to be me. Is how I took that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's interesting because I didn't know if there's like more lore behind them. Is there something?
Could be nothing that I'm aware about that was telegraphed to me. But for those of you watching that know way more than we do, please let us know. Yeah. Yeah, that was really cool. Who else did we have at the meet? We had, we guess we basically had everybody. We had Theon, we had Euron. The sit-down of it, I think it went really well when they showed off the white, and you saw the reaction from everybody that, like, holy shit, this is real. I mean, literally just, like, use your brain. Anyone that dies is going to be added to this, which is going to kill you all. So what do you want to do? Alive or dead? Like, pick one. And they did a really good job cutting to the meat of that even Cersei got there. When she finally agreed to support the war and I'll send troops up there, whatever. And this is after, the truce and all that kind of stuff, which to me was, well, first of all, before we even get there, having Tyrion go in and having that dialogue back with Cersei. God, I missed that. I missed the Cersei Tyrion dialogue so well because it was another perfect example.
Yeah.
But when Cersei came out after that and then said, all right, I'm going to support this, I am glad that we found out later in the episode there was an ulterior motive. To me, what she was saying made sense. Why she was doing it made sense, but it still didn't feel like, that's not fucking Cersei.
Yeah.
She's got to have another, bolt in the chamber ready to go or another plan of action, and of course she freaking did too. But I thought that was really cool. But, I mean, overall, how do you feel about the meeting of everybody sitting down and getting together?
I thought I joked last episode about an hour and a half of two women bickering back and forth, and I'm glad it wasn't that. I mean, there was a lot of great moments, though. I mean, like, the dragon shows up, and everybody's, like, almost out of their chair except Cersei, and then when she walks up there, she's like, you're late.
Yep.
It's like, you bitch. Can you acknowledge what just happened?
Which makes total sense. She's got to reassert dominance somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people there that didn't even really talk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, her Daenerys. Why can't I ever remember her name? Her translator or whatever it is.
I can't remember her name either, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
She didn't really say anything.
Well, you know what? If you want to feel bad for all the people that didn't talk, let's look at the season as a whole and feel bad for the actor that played Grey Worm, because he basically had, 3 scenes. Now, one of them was awesome with the sex scene with the translator.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's basically... What did he have? One face shot in the season finale, and that's it? And we haven't seen him for how many episodes?
Yeah, and that was within the first 5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, because even that, I mean, I think we kind of skipped that. I mean, that, like Jamie and Bronn there, and this Bronn, like, they were getting those barrels of pitch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, barrels of pitch to dump on him when they tried to seize the castle.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "How many do you have?" And said 500. And he goes, "Better go get 500 more."
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the Dothraki come out,
and he's like, "It doesn't matter what we do. If they want this place,
like,
it's fucking theirs." And we haven't even seen the dragons yet. Does any of this even matter right now?
Yeah. Yeah, I think at that point they definitely realized, hold on, I got to put my do not disturb on. Sorry.
Yeah, and I loved even when Jon pledged his oath to Daenerys in front of Cersei, and even Tyrion's like, "Have you ever heard a lion? Just a little bit, just one tiny little sentence could have changed the history of mankind forever."
Yeah.
But I understand your oath, and I like that Jon even called out, "I know everyone's going to make fun of me because this is exactly what my father got killed." But even the fact that that's been crammed down their throat, that just being honorable is not necessarily going to get you a victory because it hasn't worked for the Starks thus far, he's still not deviating from that, which I still think is pretty cool. You know, instead of just like, well...
It's noble.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only character that hasn't changed form from the beginning... Well, I guess there was 2. I mean, 2 characters really woke up this episode, I think, and then we'll get to them.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, Jon's Jon.
Yeah.
I mean, he honestly seems like the living embodiment of Ned, even though he's not related to him. Or he's not his son.
Yeah. Which is funny when you think about it. He is the most Ned-like.
He is.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, Rob could have been, but we didn't get to see that much of Rob.
Yep.
But then again, Rob broke his vow to the twins.
And Ned never would
which
have
ended
done
up
that.
in the Red Wedding.
Ned never would have done that. Yeah. Yep, that's a good point. Tyrion and Cersei encounter, fucking awesome. I love when he's like, just end it right now. And you can see her bad. She still won't do it at that point. My favorite scene in that encounter between the two of them was even when she's like, I don't even want to hear your apologies. And he stops. He gets some wine. There's a beat of pause. And then he says, I love those kids. You know I do. Whatever's left of you of your heart, you know that's the case. And then she doesn't even dispute it. She just goes, it doesn't matter. Like Cersei, I think, knows that he's not a fucking monster. She just chooses, and that's the key word, chooses to hate him regardless, no matter what.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, certainly.
Yep. Got to see some Theon. Haven't seen him in a few episodes, so that was great.
Yeah.
We knew we were going to get a close-up of that. It was kind of cool.
I'd say he got his balls back, but...
Kind of. I mean, I think he's just he wants some redemption, right? He wants to go off and do what needs to be done, and that's what the whole point of that fight scene was, where he overcame and killed the other guy. Come on, let's do it for our queen. And I think, and I liked actually his talk with Jon more than I liked that fight scene.
Yeah, he got the Jon Snow pep talk before he went out there and did his shit.
And, you know, it's great to see Theon not just succumbing to the post-traumatic stress that he's had from being tortured, and he's going to try to overcome it at least and get over it. To me, it was well done. It was the least interesting part of the episode. I just didn't care.
Yeah, the fight definitely carried on for a long time, but I think the reason for that was to kind of give Theon his redemption, because that fight had to happen. And then it was like that realization happened in him. And then I even liked it after the fight when he stumbles past the boat and he kneels in the water and he's cleaning the blood off of his face. That had more symbology to me than the fight itself. But I think without the fight, that wouldn't have had as much meaning.
Yep, you're right. Yep.
So, yeah, it was long, but it was nice. It was nice to see the transformation of a character. And maybe in this case, it was that realization that you are Ironborn, but you are a Stark too. And it's kind of getting him out of his funk.
Quit trying to allow them to be conflicts and accept the best worlds of both and utilize them. And I love that talk between the two. God, the show is so well written. David and Dan really know what they're doing when it comes to writing dialogue for TV.
Yeah.
But let's talk about, to me, It was my favorite part, the whole fucking episode, that I did not, again, I'm getting sick of saying this every week because it makes me sound like a damn moron, did not see coming at all. And maybe you did, and that is the final downfall of Littlefinger. We talked about Littlefinger before and had different ideas. I correct me if I'm wrong. You saw potential of him coming down. I thought that he's probably going to be around way until the very end. But the way he met his end, the way it was summed up, all of his misdeeds, to me, fit so well that this didn't seem forced, rushed, or anything. It seemed like a perfect fit. How did you feel about Littlefinger's ultimate downfall?
Oh, I hated it.
Yeah,
I love that character.
I'm sure. It was just, they had phoned it in. Lame.
The only thing, like, when it started to happen, I'm like, oh my God, is this going to go scripted as Littlefinger wants it? And then she said his name, Lord Baelish, and I'm like, I was just like, fuck, it's about fucking time. That's right. And the fact that Arya got to do it, I fucking love.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, he's the one pretty much responsible for their father dying.
Yeah.
And they got redemption on it. I mean,
responsible for the war, responsible for tens of thousands of people dying. He's responsible for basically everything that's going on. For all you know, your suggestion was that he's the one that lied about Lyanna being captured, you know?
Yeah, being kidnapped by Rhaegar. And that was like the only sadness that I had in that scene is I'm like, we're never going to find out. But that's not necessarily true. Because Bran still has the ability to go back and see things.
True. It's possible. My guess is, if that were the case, we probably would have found out about it to give us, you know, the emotional release in the show. Now, could that still be the actual case and be what's in the books when they come out? Absolutely could be, because the books have clearly diverged out of necessity, so we don't even know. But you know what's funny? This is another aspect of just how well, I can't believe that they're still doing this. When you think about it on the whole, they have set this whole thing up that we've been complaining all season. I don't know if complaining is the right word. We've been discussing all season long about how Littlefinger is kind of been put in check because he can't really migrate around and create all these conflicts because people are so used to him being so conniving. And he finds a way anyway, but I think what is kind of ultimately funny and a little bit ironic is the thing that finally tips Sansa off is the fact that he still keeps at it and still tries to manipulate, that finally gets her to realize, wait a minute, he's the one doing all this. If he would have just laid low, he probably would have made it through at least this Winterfell, you know, visit, whatever was going on. But when she's like, I'm a slow learner, but even that game that he played, what's the worst reason someone could have to do something to see if that fits, is exactly what set up his own downfall.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it was so fucking good. And then seeing that actor like play, wait, what's going on? Like, you've never seen him in a panic state before, ever.
Yeah. Well, I liked, in that scene, what was also great for me was Sansa, for the first time, really took that ownership. And, like, he's like, well, I'm confused. And she's like, well, which charges are you confused about? And I loved it. Just that air of confidence and the doubt that she has had in the past was just gone. I mean, this was her judgment, like Arya said, or her sentencing, and Arya carried it out, killing him with the knife that was his.
Yeah, so it was him. That was officially confirmed on the show. It was his the whole time. He was lying about losing it to Tyrion Lannister. He's the one that was trying to have Bran assassinated. He's the one that killed Jon Arryn. He's the one that sent the letter. I mean, I love that she called him out and verbally said it in front of everybody in the room. I'm like, God damn. And I didn't see that coming at all.
And that they know that he's the one that turned on Ned. Yeah. I mean, the fact that Bran said the exact words that he said to him.
Yep. Yeah. And then seeing him beg for his life was like, wow, you know this is the end of this guy. He's not getting out of it because he's like he's the first person to say, I'm always calculating every possibility. And we finally seen one that he did not calculate, which was just so fitting.
As gratifying and as conniving as it is, and what's a tribute to that scene is that when Arya goes over and cuts his throat and he's trying to say something, I actually wanted to hear what the fuck he was going to say. Yeah. I'm like, what? You got something else? You got something else to confess? I'm like, come on. Yeah. It's like, I mean, he will be missed. I mean, that actor, as much as he caused that friction and but he was great. I mean, he was great for the story.
And I tell you what, the actress, Maisie Williams, and I can't remember the one who plays Sansa, but the actresses that play Sansa and Arya, who were really young when they started have grown into amazing actresses because the roles they're playing have diverged so much, maybe kind of on the same tangents that they were on early in the season. But I love their reaction to each other when they're sitting on towards the end of the episode when they're just basically sitting at the wall of Winterfell talking and just seeing how far these two have come, both just characters in the show but also actresses. That's what really makes this stuff work. Is the ability to deliver some of this great dialogue. And I don't know. I just freaking love that scene. Wasn't expecting it all. When that happened, I got another one of those butterfly moments when I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. How do they keep doing this? Am I that much of a moron that I can never see this stuff telegraphed? Because then you have all these questions. So I'm assuming they didn't know the whole time, because otherwise that scene between last episode between Sansa and Arya by themselves would have made no sense. It must have been something that they just figured out. Like there really was tension between the two that he had figured out until they figured out that they were being manipulated, right?
I don't know. Maybe they were just playing along.
I hear you, but I mean, then what's the point of that whole scene where it's just the two of them and she's really scared? You know what I mean? Then it would serve no purpose.
I kind of took it as though these are where two different people are. I mean, her finding the faces and stuff like that. I mean, I think she was really
afraid
scared
of Arya was about to kill her.
She was afraid of Arya, but at the same time, I mean, I think it's necessary for her to understand who Arya is.
Sure.
Not just seeing her with Brienne, but I don't know, seeing kind of the things she went through. But I mean, I'm glad that they they figured it out at least. If it wasn't before that, at least then.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that was awesome. Then we got, let's see, Littlefinger. So we find out that Cersei is actually had a backup plan the whole time, that they're going to go take this mercenary group from the Iron Bank that are a bunch of soldiers called the Golden Company.
No, Essos.
From Essos,
not from Bravos. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But they're going to go over to Essos. Well, Essos is just the name of the continent. So I don't know if it's wherever they are.
I don't think they're associated with the Iron Bank. Somebody can answer that.
I'm sorry.
In the
Iron Bank
below.
said that they've used them before, is what I meant. You're right. It's not the actual Iron Bank. They're a group of mercenaries. Iron Bank has used them before or paid.
It'll be interesting to see if they bring them over, because they said that they were elephants and everything like that.
Yeah. So. Well, it's got to be next season. It's the last season we get. Eventually, we got to see these giant ice spiders, right? That they've been talking about forever with the White Walkers from the beginning. We have to see them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Everything else they've talked about.
I don't know if I want to see them, but.
But what was interesting to me, and again, I didn't expect this, the divide between Jaime and Cersei. Like, finally, it's gotten to the point where he's like, holy shit, she's really a frickin' monster. I didn't see that coming this early. I thought he'd be with her until almost the very end, and then I think, we've agreed he's probably going to be the one that has to make a decision, but do you think he's even in love with her anymore? I mean, literally, when he said, I don't believe he just walked out. Yeah, man.
I think he is. I think to him, he's making a sacrifice because of her and the baby that she claims to have. But I also think that Jaime is honorable. I mean, if he's proven anything over the seasons, as cocky as he was in the first season, he never showed that he wasn't honorable. I mean, he has this.
Well, he did push Bran out the window.
Well, I mean, yeah, with the exception of that, maybe a knife in a king's back.
I think before he got his arm cut off, I think was where the big change happened. Yeah. He was pretty tyrannical before that. He said he didn't give a shit about anybody else.
He was the best at everything.
Right.
He was the best fighter. Everybody wanted to be him. All the girls wanted him. So he was cocky because it was just that's who he was. And I mean, I think being held captive and then Brienne taking him home and then what happened with the hand, and then just kind of what's happened since he's been back. But. No, I mean, I think he's honorable. He wants to do the right thing.
Yeah, I think the fact that you say honorable nails it on the head, because what did he specifically say to Cersei? I gave those people my word I would take the armies north to help them out, and I'm going to do that. Which really shows his arc has really, gotten more honorable since, before his
I thought he might get cut down, actually.
I know! How
I was like, is this going to happen?
What does that say about the show? That even though you're thinking no way, for a split second, when there's that tone of music and the mountain pulls out his sword, you're like, no fucking way. No way. But then part of you goes, it could. They've done shit like this before.
Yeah.
Yeah, my gut was, my heart was racing. I'm like, there's no way, right? Oh, shit, is it? But then when he took off and left her, obviously he's in open rebellion to the queen now. She made that very clear. He can't bring an army with him because she won't let him. So where do you think he's going to go? Where would he go?
Winterfell.
Right.
Yeah, to tell them about the queen's betrayal.
God, I wonder how.
I don't think he's necessarily going to pledge himself to Daenerys, but I mean, at this point, I think he's at least going to go and try to.
He's just going to do what he said. We got to stop this army of the dead.
Yeah.
Which it seems like Jamie and Tyrion. Jamie doesn't seem to hate Tyrion anymore. You know, they had some just nice back and forth dialogue that they used to. I think after that initial meeting that Bronn set up in the basement where he's like, you know, you killed our father, well, you know why, and since then, it feels like their relationship is mended a little bit, so I'm kind of excited to see if we're going to get more Jamie and Tyrion time next season.
Maybe, but, I mean, if we go back to that, I think Jamie's relationship with Tywin was really teetering on a precipice before that, because Jamie was the one that was on Tyrion's side for the trial. And his father was like forcing him out of King's Landing, going to send him back to Casterly Rock, you know, make him take a bride and keep the family going, and all these other things that Jamie did not want to do. And I think Jamie knew his father was tyrannical and all these other things.
But he still didn't want him dead.
I don't necessarily know that he wanted him dead. He wasn't going to kill himself, but I mean, I do think that he's of all of them, he's the one that sympathized the most with Tyrion.
Right. Oh, without question.
So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because God, this feels like such a different Trek. It kind of takes me back to season 3 when it was just him and Brienne. We haven't seen this in a while, and I am fascinated to see where they go with this, because I would love to see him, especially with the character arc that he's developed into, you know, the more honorable nature, him back on Tyrion's side.
He may not have a full army, but I think he'll get some people together and he'll take some troops up there.
It'll be interesting to see, because anyone he does would be an open rebellion.
I know who it won't be.
Who?
It won't be the Tarleys.
Think it'll be Bronn? Yeah, it won't be the Tarleys. No shit. You think, why didn't he grab Bronn?
Well, Bronn might already be there. I mean, he was just trying to get out of the city at that point. That's how I saw it. That's why he was wearing the cloak and you know, doing it in the dark he was just trying to get out of the city without people seeing him.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man, so fucking awesome.
I loved that. Like right after he left is when the snow fell too, because you saw on his
winter
hand
finally was hitting King's Landing.
Yeah. The snow was finally coming in.
That was almost a little confusing because they were showing that at nightfall. I was wondering if that means that the long night was back, you know, where it was like dark and snow for an entire generation when the last White Walkers were there or something like that. And then the next scene was daylight again. I'm like, okay, well, it's not the long night again.
Yeah, I mean, from that,
which makes sense because I'm assuming the long night would come with all that smoke and the music whenever the Army of the Dead shows up. I'm assuming
those two things could have been happening at the same time, though. I mean,
yeah.
Because what is the next scene following that one? Isn't it up on the wall?
After that scene is Bran and Samwell.
Okay. We didn't know what it was like.
That's when we find out that.
Well, doesn't Samwell arrives at
Winterfell?
Winterfell, it was dark. It was nighttime when he arrived at Winterfell. There was some scene in between.
I just remember because I was curious. Oh man, the long night's here, and literally, the very next scene was daylight. So,
was it when they were showing the map and everything getting snowed on?
Yeah, it was dark in King's Landing, and it was starting to get dark. But then the next scene they cut to, I think, was right before Sam gets to. Yeah, Sam was just getting into Winterfell on his carriage, and it was daylight.
Was it daylight? Because I thought it was dark.
Who knows? It could be, but I would just be surprised. I don't know. If that was going to be the definitive beginning of the long night, I don't think they would have gone back and forth. That would have been too confusing the audience if they wanted to make a point of it. But who knows? We won't find out until next season. But having Samwell come back, we've already kind of talked about that. The fact that we found out that I like how at first when Bran's like, Jon has to know, and I'm like, oh shit, he is excited. He's definitely going to tell him. Oh cool. Oh wait, he's going to tell Sam right now too. Oh cool. Wait, what? Oh yeah. He's an actual bastard of Dorne, so his name is Sand, not Snow. Cool. No, he's actually not a bastard. What? wait a minute, Bran doesn't know that? He does know everything. And then Sam's like, well, can you look here? And I'm like, oh, those were the rules. Okay, this is getting better and better. I just like the way that flowed so well for every sentence, like had a purpose without being too short or too long. But
yeah, I love that too. That he's like, yeah, my Jon and Daenerys Targaryen are heading back here to Winterfell, and he's like, did your visions tell you that? I was like it's made me chuckle a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's holding the Raven scroll.
And I love the fact that when he's basically describing the fact that Jon is really Aegon Targaryen is right as he's also having sex with Daenerys.
Yes. Yeah, I noticed that too.
Which the internet has had so much fun with.
It wouldn't be Game of Thrones if there wasn't some incestual thing involved in any kind of sex or something. No, I noticed that too. And I made a note here. I wrote a question last night after I watched that, and I watched the Peter Baelish to the end thing again. Why does Tyrion look so pissed off about what's going down?
And there's been so much speculation.
I know that he's in love with her, but he's also kind of been pushing her at Jon Snow.
I don't think Tyrion's in love with Daenerys at all. I don't think he has any romantic feelings towards her whatsoever. I think he believes in her or whatever, but I don't think he's romantically interested in Daenerys at all. There's all kinds of theories. That's one of them, is that he really is. I don't buy that. I don't believe it. I don't think anything that they've done thus far has led even the slightest hint to that, and to me it seems out of character. But fine, it's possible. Maybe he's really in love with Daenerys. I still call bullshit on that one. Another one is just, to me, the first reaction was, there's already so much that can go wrong. This just complicates things at this point. That was my gut reaction. Like, if Tyrion heard them in the room, I can't see him starting to go, all right, go get it, girl. You know, I think, if anything, it would just be his reaction.
It was too lingery. It was too lingery to be that. No,
you're right. You're 100% right. They showed it as long as they did for a reason that we're not going to find out about until next fucking season.
Well, obviously. Yeah. Unless they have episode 7.5.
Yeah, to me, it just wouldn't seem that out of character, but you're right. The fact that they showed it as long as they did, there has to be another specific reason. I have no idea. Do you have any guesses? I mean, do you think he's in love with her? I don't buy that.
I don't know. I mean, I think everybody's been in love with her in a way.
Sure, but you know what I mean. Is he romantically in love with her?
One thing he really noticed is, like, Jorah Mormont was in love with her.
That was very open and clear. He made that very clear, yep.
And, I mean, obviously she's had, a slew of gentleman callers. I can't say a slew. Mm-hmm. She's had a few. But, I don't know. It just, to me, I don't know why he was so upset. There was no, to me, it was just kind of one of those, like, huh?
Yeah.
Why are you hanging out?
I know. Like, what's up, creeper? Huh? What are you doing, man? Did they cut something out that we're going to see in the director's scene where he's hanging around a little bit longer with a smile on his face? We don't know. It was so funny how...
for him something? I don't...
I like a lot of the stuff that's gone around the internet, memes and all, about how first season, find out about the Lannister incest in the very first episode. Ew, gross. Season 7, incest with Daenerys and Jon Snow. Fuck yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, this is like Luke and Leia type shit now, right? They don't know. They don't know. The Force hasn't told them yet.
If she can't have kids, they don't need to worry about, mentally challenged kids or anything like that. So
I don't foresee that happening anyway. Clearly, if they have any babies, the silver hair is gone. And the whole
what a perfect
lineage
embodiment of just discussion about a show. Hey, she can't have children, so they can't have retarded babies. That's a tagline right there for just how complex
John
the show
even
is.
said when they were like hanging out in the little, like, when they kind of went off, kind of that high school moment,
maybe
like
you should get
7 minutes in the closet. Yeah. Who told you that? Or 7 minutes in heaven or whatever the hell it was.
How many years ago was that?
Popped out.
Without... Like, it's uncomfortable to talk about anything in the show. Let's be honest, we were just talking about mentally challenged babies. But wouldn't she have been having a menstrual cycle for the past few years? I mean, wouldn't she know? I don't understand how this...
Well, I don't know exactly how all that works, especially in Westeros.
Or are we even allowed to talk about this? Because I don't even know on the internet anymore.
I figure if we're going to get torched, let's get torched for this. I mean, hell... Season 2, we got blown up over a comment that I made. No, I guess she could still be having those, but if she believes that she's infertile,
right,
and she's just not having kids. I mean, granted, she's had a few partners since then. Well, at least one. She really only had the one, right?
I think just one, just Dario Naharis, right?
Yeah, I think that's it. The greatest lover ever. Yeah. It's entirely possible that in his lifetime that he's done something to be infertile.
This is totally how I thought we were going to end this segment, on this topic that just came up,
the fertility habits of people.
Who knows? We'll find out. Maybe it's going to be another magical element that'll bring... I'm just curious how this is going to...
Maybe with her losing a dragon, she can now have a child.
Maybe. Man, I honestly still have no idea.
She can have Viserys.
How this series...
Is that the dragon's name?
Viserys.
Viserys, yeah.
Well, wait. Or was that his brother's name? Viserion. It was named after her brother, Viserys. Yeah.
Okay, so now she can now have her third child back.
Maybe. Yeah, again, I have no freaking idea how this is going to end. Like, I'm pretty sure that Jaime's going to kill Cersei, but other than that, how does this work? Did Jon and her get married? Because they're obviously eventually going to find out who he really is. Now that he's the actual heir to the Iron Throne, how's Daenerys going to take that?
Yes, that's going to be an awkward conversation.
Yeah.
Like showing up and Sam's all at the gate like, hey, dude, I got something to tell you. And then he looks over and he's like, what the fuck have you been doing? That's your sister. No.
Well, aunt, but yeah. It's funnier to say. It's your sister, man.
It's like some Euro trip shit.
Yeah.
Well, this is interesting. You just had sex with your sister.
Hi. Oh, you have met your aunt. This is awesome. That's great.
Oh, cool. Cool. I got some news for both of you.
Man, your face just turned whiter than her hair. Are you all right? You okay? You need to sit down?
Be Sam at the big table and those two on the side in little chairs. You're like, you guys didn't do anything though, right? Everything's cool?
Hey, you promised, right? Because you swore. Okay, cool. You're a man of your word.
We don't want this getting weird.
That's what the Starks are all about, so it's totally cool. I trust you. I'm assuming Jon wouldn't even want the Iron Throne.
It's not something he's after.
That doesn't seem like something even in character that he would want at all.
It would definitely create some tension though between Dany and Jon for sure. So.
Wouldn't that also make her feel less alone knowing that she has some more relatives out there? Because at some point Jon's going to be riding a dragon.
Yeah, but that's her immediate ally. That's her most powerful ally right now is Jon. As far as for Westeros goes, I mean, obviously she has her Unsullied and Dothraki, but I mean, that's definitely her most powerful ally. So having something like that where she sees some competition to her claim to the throne will definitely throw some shade on some stuff. Hopefully it doesn't derail anything. I mean, hopefully they could be logical about it because I'm with you. I don't think Jon wants the Iron Throne. Not something he's wanted, not something he ever wants now. There may be some things like, what would I do if I were the king type of situations and moments. But I think ultimately, if I were to make another prediction, it's that Jon's not going to make it out of.
You don't think so?
Out of it. His baby may.
Yeah.
his baby with his aunt might, but.
God, so many more comments we can make about that right now, but I think that we'll get slammed enough on the internet, so we'll go ahead and let that pass. I don't know. Awesome episode. And then finally ending with the wall coming down. I thought that was a cool scene to watch this dragon. I'm not entirely clear. So is this ice dragon shooting ice fire, or is it blue fire, or who knows?
Who knows?
It was still cool as shit.
All I know is that that was pretty ridiculous. Like when he was like shooting at the middle, and then you could see the fire through the wall. I'm just kind of like, how'd this thing stand for 8,000 years or however long it's been out? Because,
again, when you throw magic in there,
seems like some pretty weak shit. And what broke the spell that even allowed them to do that?
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be imbued with all these powers that prevented them from coming. Was it that dragon magic is that much more powerful than anything the wall had?
Right.
Or did that spell somehow get broken?
It does bring up a lot of questions.
When they brought the white back over to Westeros that was still alive, was that somehow what caused it? Right. I mean, it's
As far as the books, I know that there was like this big horn that supposedly when you blow the horn that it would like the whole wall would come down, and that's what Mance Rayder in the books even. I don't know if he was lying. I think he was telling Jon that they have the horn. They haven't even brought it up. They're probably not even going to talk about it in the TV show. I was hoping that was going to come up because as cool as this scene was, and it was really cool. It was a great way to end the episode. Seeing the Night King riding, I'm still going to call it an ice dragon, was cool as shit. I know we even talked about how we thought at the end of season 7 we're going to see the wall came down. We did. I was hoping, as cool as this was, for a big horn to be blown and seeing the entire fucking wall just come down, which I know probably would have taken the budget of over an entire show to do. But I was hoping for that. And so when I saw this, I kind of felt the same way you did. Like, okay, we're talking magic and we're talking, dragon fire, super powerful, and he was just standing in the same spot blowing over and over, so I'm sure it could have eaten through the wall. Made sense. Gave him a reason to get past the wall. I was just kind of hoping for something a little bit different, so I'm not going to say that I'm disappointed and thought it sucked. It's just, not completely what I was hoping for.
Yeah, I almost thought when I saw the dragon that he was just going to freeze the water around the outside and he was going to walk around it.
See, now that would have been cool.
The only scene in that whole thing that bothered me, and it wasn't how it came down or anything like that. I mean, I'm okay with that, but the scene that bothered me was that close-up of him on the back of the dragon, and it's just him doing this for like 30 seconds. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Do we really need to stay with this shot? I mean, you see it once. I mean, he looked lumpy on the thing, like when they're driving by, and he's like there. I'm like, it's like, meh.
Yeah.
I didn't think it looked all that great to begin with. I mean, when Daenerys is on a dragon, it looks cool, but he just looked like I don't know. It just didn't look right. And then the fact they focused in on that shot, and then he's hovering, right? He's blowing in one spot or whatever. Mm-hmm. I just thought that shot was too long. I'm like, this is.
It did give a plausible reason though to get through the wall. You know what I mean? It did work. From a
and I know the question about that too now is Broderick and Tormund's still alive, right?
Oh, yeah. God, they better be.
They gotta be.
Tormund's one of my favorite fucking
screen
characters.
Deaths. I mean, it looks like they got far enough in on the wall.
Or Barrick, isn't that his name? Barrick and Tormund?
Or Barrick, yeah. I'm sorry, yeah, Barrick. It looks like they got far enough in on the wall to where it just kind of, in front of them. They got a hell of a climb down now, unless you can walk across the top of the wall to the next one. I don't know how.
Right.
I don't know the logistics of that, but I think they're still alive. I mean, no.
I'm assuming, right, or we would have seen a death
on-screen death, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we would have seen something because they're more primary characters. Let's hope so because fucking love Tormund. And I know it's not in the books, and that was something created from the show, but he and Brienne have just got to get together.
Yeah, they got to make some giant babies.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall, though, fucking awesome way to end the season, and I'm so jacked and ready to go into this. And I know everyone is saying, and I understand a lot of their and other people's concerns about pacing and stuff, and not uniformity throughout the season. But overall, how would you rate this season compared to the other ones?
I don't know, second or third favorite.
Mm-hmm.
4 holds the thing for me.
Right.
I mean, 4 to me is the best season.
Yeah.
But the shortness of it and some of the pacing issues, and some of the time jumps, just the leaps in time in this season, don't put it in the one spot. I mean, it's a 2 or 3 though, for sure.
I agree with you, but I can't think of a way around that because we just remember the last episode of season 6 wiped out so many of the characters. They don't have filler,
That's true, but it's.
But you're right. Still doesn't help the pacing.
Yeah, and some of my trepidation kind of comes from the fact that there's only 7 or 8 episodes next season, and that's supposed to be it. Mm-hmm. But there's a whole war that's going to be fun.
But they're also talking about how most, if not all, the episodes could be almost like feature length apiece.
Yeah, but I mean, I know what there's clamoring on the internet. I think it needs another season. I think HBO needs to come to that realization that we'll do 8 and then we'll do 9 and call it good.
Mm-hmm. If they added more at this point now, they would have to completely change. Because they've already had this outline, I guess, for years. I mean, they knew that. Well, I guess,
and I have a question too for the people that are reading the books. I mean, As I understand it, the show is ahead of the books at this point.
Yeah. It ended, the last thing in the books that was out was when Jon Snow died.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that was season 5. End of season 5.
Okay, into season 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, at this point, they're just kind of making stuff up. And maybe that's their concern, is that content's not out there to borrow.
From the interviews, because I've watched a lot of different interviews with David and Dan and even George, they've spoken, with George all the time on what they're doing, how they're doing it, and looking to him for guidance and stuff. They're still going to the same endpoint. Like, George knows where the endpoint is. He still doesn't know all the details of how they all end up there, which is what he's writing right now, is the last 2 books. But he knows the endpoint. Well, since he doesn't even know how to get there, then David and Dan have to make up a way to get there too.
Yeah.
But they're going to come to the same endpoint.
And maybe that was a little obvious this season.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't have such a tight structure to work from.
Could be.
Or borrow from.
Very possible, but you know what's interesting? A lot of the stuff that are changes from the TV show to the books that have been awesome, where it had nothing to do with the books at all. So it's like really almost no way to know. For example, one of my favorite things in the first, I think it's the 3rd season, is the multiple episodes where Tywin has Arya and doesn't even know it. That's all Dan and David.
That wasn't in the books at all?
Not at all.
When she was this cupbearer?
Mm-mm. All the dialogue with little bits of snippets taken is all them. I mean, they are very, very good writers.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's really hard to say. Maybe the pacing was just different because there's fewer characters and they're going to the same endpoint that George R. Martin is. But if they took and added and tried to force in an entire another season to do it, it would feel, forced and pushed. I mean, I think everything that they've done to this point is for a very specific reason that they've had the outline to do for years. So would I love more Game of Thrones? Sure. But they've said that they've known specifically how many episodes it is going to go to because they already have them laid out. And any more than that they felt would detract from the quality of the show. So,
yeah, but I think you rushing to an ending is detracting. I mean...
Mm-hmm.
Even this season. So I think about how this season started. And this season started out, I thought, really good. Even pacing-wise was really good. The first 2-3 episodes, fantastic. I think we even commented on the fact that the pacing was just hitting.
Yep.
Right, on all of it. Especially the episode where they fight the Lannister and Tarly armies. I mean, that episode itself just had tremendous pacing.
Yeah,
and
the whole thing. You didn't even care. Like the fact that, the fight's over with. Yeah, we really don't need to see it.
But the pacing was there, and there was enough other stuff. I mean, at that point, second episode was when Jorah got healed by Sam, right, the Citadel, and was leaving. You get into the 3rd episode, and there's the Dragon Glass. Theon's sister getting captured. He gets back. It's, all that stuff is happening. I mean, the pacing was good for the first few episodes, and it just kind of started to fall apart as they kind of tried to conclude the season, I felt like.
You're not the only person to think that. That's probably one of the most prevalent things that I've read on the internet as far as plots kind of feels like it's jumping around and all over the place. And I can't deny that or argue that because a lot of people feel that way, and I also see where those errors are. Overall, I still just had so much fun watching this season. I guess I just give it a pass. I just don't.
I'm definitely going to miss it. I mean, it was good. It definitely... great, and it ended on a great thing. I mean, at this point, it's going to suck to even have to wait and see the trailer for next season.
Listen to the little crybaby, everybody. They got to watch 6 seasons in the span of a few weeks, and the rest of us have been waiting year after year after year. Yeah. I'm just glad that at least once you have to fucking wait a year, okay, and have to somewhat understand what we've had to go through this whole time, but at least you've gotten to get into the show. Another cool aspect, too, is because they have diverged, for better or for worse, we really won't know until afterwards. A lot of people were saying the same thing about the pacing about either book 3 or book 4. You know what I mean? Like it just... And they fixed some stuff, so I think there's going to be pros and cons to everything. But the fact that they have diverged, I think, is fascinating because... After we're done with this, if you really want more of a Thrones fix, you can go read the books and get maybe some things a lot the exact same or similar, and some things might diverge great, so you can have more of a Thrones universe, which I think is awesome. I'm sure a lot of people do that.
Yeah, they're right. I mean, kind of delaying the last season coming out gives them more time to work on the prequel stuff they're doing or whatever the spin-off stuff is.
Well, they're not even going to start production on that until they said after the next season is like all done.
But they also said that by giving him that extra time, because it might be 2019 before these come out,
right?
That there won't be as long of a wait to have those other things.
Oh, I'm sure you're right. I'm sure they could do pre-production or whatever if they wanted to, or ideas. But well, pretty great way to end a fucking season. Awesome show. I can't think of one wrong thing that they did. It was perfect in every contrary to everything that we just spoke about too. You'd rate it what, second or third best?
Right now, I think I'm going to go back and rewatch all of them.
Yeah, I would have to.
Then I'll reshuffle.
To put seasons in order now, I think I'd have to rewatch. I'll never forget the first time I watched The Red Wedding, thinking I can't believe what I'm watching, because that has such a huge emotional impact when you watch that I will remember the rest of my life. That's usually why I put number 3 in such high regards, because you don't get something like that in any other fucking show. I couldn't believe, and it's so memorable to me. It's like watching Optimus Prime die in the '86 animated movie. Yeah, which I'm sure everybody out there has always seen that. One of the highest scoring movies of all time.
What, hearing Jazz, was it Jazz, the one that cussed in it?
He died in the live action Transformers with Michael Bay. Oh, who was cussed in the movie? Spike did. Spike. Okay. And then Ultra Magnus said damn.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because like right when they get attacked, it's like, what the hell are we going to do now, or something like that.
Oh, shit, what are we going to do now?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
when PG was PG.
Let us know what you thought of the season finale of Game of Thrones. Let us know if there's anything that we missed or we misspoke about. We love the lore and the mythology, and we know there are people that know a lot more about this stuff than us, and we love hearing other people's opinions. But don't forget, you can always check out regular episodes of Fractured Focus, where we post on topics of everything from geek culture to nerd news, along with random topics for discussion. You can always check us out at youtube.com/fracturedfocus. With that being said, I know that we don't have any more Game of Thrones reactions for at least another year, but I know we'll do reactions on other stuff too. Maybe we'll have to do, I don't know if we'll do it per episode basis, but maybe since you haven't seen it yet and it's going to air in October, maybe Stranger Things.
Yeah.
You could binge that, and then we can talk
might be
about
something.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Especially leading right up to it or whatever. That'd be really fun, too. So we got more goodies in the oven. We just haven't brought them out.
Look for more reactions. And if there's any other shows,
definitely
let us know.
With that being said, until next time.